Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for December for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you some key strands to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail all the key influences and timings particularly significant to your sign. Now this month begins with very much a Sagittarius season. We have the Sun, Mercury and Venus in your sign, and that gives you an opportunity for self-expression. But Mars, the planet of passion, is in your 7th house of relating, and the full moon, which occurs in Gemini on the 8th, is going to embrace the energies of Mars. So this could bring about some tensions in a relationship, not necessarily a romantic relationship. So I need to share that with you. But of course, the last couple of years has been dominated by the square between Saturn and Uranus, which has caused you in particular a lot of stress. The great news is that from the 3rd, that aspect stretches out and goes beyond a 3-degree exact square, and that tension is going to hopefully ease. Also Neptune, which has been a baffling influence at times since 2012 in terms of your home and emotional energy, that was squaring up with Mars the last couple of months. That also eases from the 4th. But the other thing to tell you about is that Jupiter, your ruler, moves back into a glorious zone on the 20th, where it will be through to the 16th of May next year, giving you a huge platform for self-expression and potentially for some romantic developments. But later in the month, it really is all about your financial situation, your self-worth, your values, the foundation of your life. And that brings down the curtain on this year. So lots to tell you about, so please stay with me. If you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand what year 2023 will hold for you personally, if you give me 3 pieces of birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can give you your forecast. If you order it in year 22, you'll get the rest of that year free. Plus, in my special package, you can get your life roadmap, your character analysis. Having this will help you to understand some of the repetitive patterns that have come up in your existence, perhaps the more challenging ones, but also the ones that give you opportunities. And having a deeper understanding of those can help you to really flourish in this new year. In my special package, you can get 30% off, so please see the link beneath this video. Also, if you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you already have, thank you so much for your continued support and views. So Sagittarius, as you come into December, the Sun, Mercury and Venus are all in your sign. The Sun's about our innate energy, so in your own sign it's encouraging you to refresh the ongoing strands that are important to you, focus on the things that you want to be single-minded about, but also because of the physical vitality the Sun provides, you should be feeling quite lively as you come into this month. Now Mercury is also in your sign, of course, but that technically is in detriment in the sign of Sagittarius. But I feel that this gives your thinking some nimbleness, some dexterity, and some of the ideas that you're generating can start to show progress as soon as the start of week 2. Venus in your own sign, however, gives you encouragement to in some ways remake your identity. So you could find yourself buying some new clothes, adapting your presentation, your hair in some way. Or it's possible that if you are a creative archer, this is giving you a lot of encouragement to shape some of the ideas and the drive the Sun and Mercury are giving you with a degree of style and aplomb. So there's a lot to support you as you come into this new month. But Mars in retrograde in your opposite sign is coming into a tense opposition with the Sun from the 5th through to the 10th, but it's almost immediately in opposition with Venus. So this sets up the potential for someone to be drawn to you, that you find a very compelling influence. This could be very much a raw energy of attraction, but also in terms of an ongoing relationship, it could intensify the amount of intimacy that you and a partner share. Or if there are differences between you, it may be that a partner could be more assertive about saying how they feel, or possibly you're the one who's going to be saying very much about what you feel is acceptable or not. Now, over the last couple of months of October and November, Mars's energy has been moderated and drained somewhat by the drifting, dreamy energy of Neptune. Neptune goes direct on the 4th of this month, which means that that's helpful, but it does go into a square with the Sun between the 10th and the 17th. So once the Sun comes out of the opposition with Mars, you get an energy that's not dissimilar to those 2 previous months with Mars. Maybe what you're wanting to achieve, perhaps in terms of the Christmas arrangements, maybe someone in your family is being a little bit difficult or evasive or draining, very needy, or perhaps your own physical vitality can just ebb back a little bit. But on the 6th, Mercury moves out of your sign into Capricorn, which is a very business-like location for this planet. Now, Mercury here can help you to manage your resources in a very shrewd way. Of course, many of us are adapting to the cost of living crisis, whether it's energy bills, the cost of how much it puts to put fuel in a car, or whether it's to do with the cost of our groceries. But Mercury is going to bring a canniness to bear for you, or add to your natural shrewdness. But the 8th sees that very potent full moon. So when the moon is exactly side by side with Mars, and in your case on your 7th house cusp, that's where you're relating to people. So someone could challenge you in the following couple of weeks about the way you go about things, the way you interact and relate. Then again, as I said before, maybe it's you who's being clearer about your boundaries, but some tension could follow in those 2 weeks. Someone may feel that you're being far too single-minded in terms of pursuing your own ideas and life plan, and feel that you're not tuning into their needs enough. Then again, maybe you feel that someone's not attuned to your creative strands and not being supportive enough. But on the 10th, probably one of the best moments of the whole year for you, particularly in relation to these headwinds that we're all encountering, because Venus moves into Capricorn. And when Venus moves into the 2nd solar house in astrology, it almost every time brings some kind of reward. Now, it's possible that someone could just let you know how much they appreciate you. It could be a card or a text message, or it may be there is going to be some kind of financial uptick that can be very encouraging. Because the Sun, as I mentioned before, forges a very constructive link to Saturn in week 2, your individual plans and the way you express them, the 3rd house where Saturn is, can be very clear and businesslike. People can appreciate that, and that can be very gratifying after the energy of Saturn square with Uranus over the last couple of years, where everything you've tried to do has taken an enormous amount of effort, but hasn't necessarily seen you make progress in terms of your practical world. However, practicalities could be challenged, particularly in the home sphere, by that Sun-Neptune square in from the 10th to the 17th, but perhaps the most glorious part of the month after Venus's arrival in your 2nd house on the 10th is Jupiter returning to Aries on the 20th. If you remember, this has happened before. This is a retrograde unwinding, so Jupiter moving back into Aries through till the 16th of May next year is something to really behold, because The fifth house is where we showcase our flair, our artistry. It's where we show off a little bit. It's a bit Leonian, and of course your ruler is very much to do with self-confidence, positivity, growth, and a belief that things can go your way. So because Jupiter in the previous 4 weeks was focused outside of the retrograde on your home zone, it may be that there's been some good developments around your physical environment, but this really is pushing a more playful agenda into the open. But the 21st sees the winter solstice. The sun arrives in the sign of Capricorn and triggers the beginning of cardinal quadrant 4, the last 13-week period of the year, the astrological year, through to the spring equinox. But for you, this is a chance to really think about those more earthy considerations, getting finance running well. So it's not necessarily just how much we have, it's how we use it. Now, if your situation is really challenging, I think the fact that Jupiter, your ruler, squares the winter solstice is kind of saying to you that even though it may feel quite excluding, if some other people you know are better off, what you can take heart from is that Jupiter is going to be a very reinforcing energy for you for the whole of 2023. And also, there's 2 glorious new moons influencing your sister fire sign of Aries. The first on the 21st of March, the second on the 20th of April, and that solar eclipse is going to be combining with your ruler Jupiter. So some real good news can run for next spring in the following 6 months. So if your immediate financial situation is quite challenged, do keep the faith. The new moon of the 23rd, however, asks you most of all to value you, your core qualities, and try not to compare yourself to anyone else, because that's not going to be very helpful. That also squares up with Jupiter. Now, there could be some concerns about finances. Mercury goes retrograde on the 29th. If anyone owes you any money that's not being paid on time, it can be obviously frustrating. But also Mercury helps us to rethink, recalibrate, review. And so the Mercury retrograde for you in its conjunction with Venus could actually see you making plans for 2023 that use your resources, whether it's your skills, your experience, your knowledge, often huge, in a new and more grounded way, or it is trying to squeeze out a few more economies. The thinking you do at the end of the year with Mercury and Venus can actually be very productive. But from the 29th to the 31st, Venus is combining with Pluto. Possible that someone could offer you some kind of package as year 2022 comes to an end. Pluto can be secretive. It's also to do with power. It can be linked to more Machiavellian kind of techniques, control, the dark arts, and Venus can be that apparently presented charming facade. But actually, because it's the second house, this is much more of a Taurus influenced event rather than a Libran influenced event, because Venus rules both those signs. So I think it really will be an opportunity that could surprise you, and it could be valuable, but you just really need to check out your motives and the motives of the person offering the situation before you decide. But you know, it could also be that you're just really strongly drawn towards somebody who has got a very down-to-earth energy. They may be someone who, a bit like the Pentacles in a tarot, who, you know, knows the value of things. They might be quite smart, they may be quite entrepreneurial, but this person can be very attractive to you because you're fire, so that's very much about the batons. So your energy comes in that thrust and drama that you create. And this person, or what you learn in discussions over the festive period, can give you a lot of information to guide your moves future forwards in a way which really does extract the best for all those skills that you have. Now on Christmas Day, the moon's going to be in the convivial 3rd house for you. It's also going to be linking to your ruler Jupiter very positively. This suggests that it can be a fabulous day for you, but if you are going to be on your own and that's not your choice, you will be very much in my personal thoughts. But wishing All Archers, a very happy Christmas and a glorious 2023, and goodbye for now.